Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Jocelyn Lovely Tarot. Welcome back. I am excited to see you guys. Today's reading is for my beautiful Gemini. If you resonate with the video, like, share, and subscribe. We have great energy here. It took me a bit to decipher the reading just because there was so much in the cards. If you're not a Gemini, but you may have Gemini placements in your chart, so just be aware of that. If you resonate with the video and you just stumbled upon it, and if it's for you, like, share, and subscribe. Alright, we start off with transformation here. I transform Scorpio, right? Feminine energy. You know the best part about it is if you take a look at this person, it looks like it's laying to rest another person. It's almost as if like you're putting an old version of yourself down for good. You're laying it to rest and you're grieving. Good for you. This is a painful process, remember, right? We step into Scorpio energy to help us see in the darkest pits of ourselves. It helps us face the things that we struggle with on a daily basis, things that, old narratives that we've created since we were a child or somebody placed upon us, and we believed it as our truth and carried on with it. And then now it's like we face those parts of self that we just don't want to see, right? Things about ourselves we haven't accepted, things about ourselves that are reflected outwards, and you just don't want to be that version of yourself. So you're facing it. And you're crying and you're healing. Congratulations. This is a big process, and I think nobody ever thanks you. Sometimes you guys don't thank yourselves, and I think you need to thank yourselves because this is difficult. Some of you guys are struggling with even crying, so what you're doing is you're running to the snacks, running to the cigarettes, running to the weed, running to the alcohol, which there's nothing wrong with that, because think about it, if that's how much pain you're in, we need to be even kinder to ourselves. Even kinder. I know that some of us are not used to that. Maybe we had to reparent ourselves because our parents were really rough on us. But nevertheless, we still have to be kind as much as we can be. Because think about it, our guides and our higher self is always, they just look at us and their understanding of why we run to what we run to, why we believe these old narratives. They're so kind to us. They want us to be like that to ourselves. They don't see you as imperfect, by the way. Whenever we run back to our old ways of being because we don't believe we can change, the divine just looks at us and say, it's okay. You'll take a day off. You'll come back to this. We'll come back to this again tomorrow. We love you anyways. Then you have Taurus energy. What I got from this one, it was more of like it's this belief in yourself. It's like the bull, right? It believes. You can step it out into the arena, but it just knows it's capable of whatever condition it's placed in. It's this belief within yourself that you're finding every time you go in there and you grieve this pain. It's the belief that you're going to be okay. It's the belief that you can change. There are days where some of you guys, I've noticed this week, even last week, even last month, you guys have been giving up on yourselves. Some of you guys are on the brink of saying, man, F this, I don't want to do this anymore. For you guys, take the day off. Take the week off if you need to. Some of you guys are fighting like ways of being that you've lived like or lived through, or you've been this way for so long, trying to change the narrative or trying to recreate a new thought pattern, or trying to live out as if you're already the version that you want to be. It's really hard. And I see you guys really trying every single day and failing. Some of you guys are failing and you're like, man, I don't think I'm ever going to get it. I don't think I'm ever going to do this, right? This is good. This means that you're putting yourself out there. The fact that you're putting yourself out there to try to live out in a different narrative than you have your whole life. I'm talking about decades of self-belief patterns that you're breaking through. Congratulate yourself. This is why the divine is asking me to tell you guys to be real gentle, because some of you guys are on the brink of like giving up. And then when you want to give up, you're hard on yourself about it. You're like, why can't I get this? Then you start shaming yourself, and it's like, that's not really helping you. Some of you guys, if you really feel like you need to shame yourself, go ahead. But I think it's really just old narratives, because what you really want to do is cry. I advise you guys to cry. And if there's nobody you can hug a plushie, okay? I've done that. It's very healing. Anybody that has a plushie out there, use it. Some of us, and I'm going to put myself in there, we don't have parents. We were our parents' parents. We had to raise everybody. We had to take care of everybody around us. A Taurus energy does it. That's what they do. They carry the weight of everybody else. So right now, just carry your own weight. And if you can't, ask the divine to help you. Just ask it to help you surrender in that moment so that it's not so much. Because remember, it's like you're so used to controlling the show that, you know, maybe humility is hurting you too. It's the knowing that you have no control over this old way of being, of this narrative. You have no control over it. That's humbling. That's humility. And that sucks too. It feels weird, right? But you got this. Then you got fifth house, creativity, right? But look at this. Two versions of yourself. This is where Gemini really stems out, right? Look at the inner child in a fun house. And then a lady in the background. This is you. Literally, think about it. It's like two versions of you. One version of you that wants to go out there and have fun. The inner child. This is where the inner child really, really wins. It really shines in this area of life. It's almost as if you're allowing your inner child to come out again and play. And I'm talking to people out here who maybe had a really difficult childhood. When you were little, you had your inner child, but sometimes I felt like you had to hide it so that you could protect yourself. So instead of being the most positive, happiest version of yourself, I think some of you guys had to hide that. I don't know if it was because, you know, parents were really rough on you. You didn't have parents. Some of you guys, you know, had really, like I said, rough beginnings. So you could not, for your own safety, you had to block some things out. I mean, like, shut it out. Like, you forgot that you lived this way until you went back into the Akashic records and you started remembering things. Some of you guys were that traumatized, right? So it's like some of your inner child just wasn't able to live out the way it wanted to fully at 100%. So now it's like you're faced with two versions of yourself. That the adult that has to carry on with all of this trauma and this pain, and the inner child who just wants to live out life believing that it didn't really suffer, and even if it did suffer, it could survive. It could be happy again. Man, this is some hard work, you guys. I'm feeling the pain with you. If you guys feel like nobody's understanding you, I'm understanding you. I'm here. I'm here with you. To be honest with you, I think this is why I do the readings. Because there's so many people who struggle with not just mental health, right? I don't want to label it. We struggle with like showing up. We show up having to smile, pretending that nothing's wrong. And it's like, I just want you to know that there's a safe place where you can run to and feel like you don't have to be that positive. That you could be the real version of you. Whether that's angry and you're just pissed and you're just hurt and if you're depressed, I want you to know that you can run here and I will feel this pain with you. We can do it together. And then, you know, there's also a little place for your inner child here that feels that one day, if we do enough work, we can come out and be happy again and we can play. You know, I want both of your aspects. Because the Seven of Cups comes out, I want both of these aspects to come out and thrive. I want you to be safe enough to bring both of these parts of yourself and join them together. That doesn't even sound realistic, right? It doesn't even sound possible. The mind can't conceive that, right? Because think about it, we're talking about a person that's, it's like the most selfish version of you, showing up as the most authentic version, selfish version, with like the most healing, loving, forgiving version of yourself and putting them together. How does that even happen? Well, you're doing the work, right? You're healing yourself, right? So it's all about merging these two and seeing these two as a plus. Like, they shouldn't have to be separate if you don't want it to be. Maybe, like I said, at one point for your protection it had to be, but now it's like a time for you to discover all these areas and let them thrive together. And ask yourself, what do you think would be the right way for you to let your inner child express itself? Let it live freely. in today's society without you feeling like you're in harm's way? How can you let yourself out there? Like, be vulnerable outside in front of people who just want to take from you. How can you show up being your most authentic self, smiling, but not giving all of your energy to everybody else because it's just for you? How do you show up validating yourself, right? How do you show up validating yourself so that you don't attract people that just want to take from you? So that you don't attract people that need validation from you because you got it within, right? How do you show up in a place where you're not giving too much of your energy? You have just enough and it's for yourself, right? How do you show up in a place and not feel sorry for others? I know it sounds weird, right? Like, it's almost as if, like, I don't want it to come out wrong, but sometimes going out there and doing for everybody else can be detrimental to you, right? Because I feel like all this energy that you're able to get right now is just for you, and you only, why? Because right now you're healing and you're doing other things. So right now it's just best encouraged. It's encouraged for you to just focus on you. Besides your children and, you know, main priority, but try to focus on you. I'm talking about you and your inner child and what your inner child needs, right? So how do you show up unapologetic for only giving to yourself right now and not feeling sorry for not being able to give to anybody else? I hope I'm making sense. All right, then we get to justice, right? It's justice. You had justice twice, by the way, that came out in different decks. This is the justice. You get to walk away from things that no longer serve you. You get to take it all with you, right? It's a new sword, a new blank canvas where you get to see the blueprint of who you really are. Get to see you for who you really are, and you get to rewrite. The truth is, you see you and you get to rewrite it. You get to change it. You get to do whatever you want. If you see yourself for who you really are and you like it, keep it that way. Some of you guys are going to find out that you actually did like yourselves. You liked yourself so much. That's a surprise. A lot of you guys deal with low self-esteem, right? Some of you guys are going to find out that you really love yourselves. You love that version of yourselves that doesn't give a shit about anybody else. But you're not going to feel guilty about it anymore. That's a twister, right? Some of you guys had parents that were, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but some of your parents were so disrespectful. They were so selfish. They were so focused on them that they had to make sure everybody around them, including their children, you guys, gave all your efforts and attention to them. Because any energy that you had for yourself as a child could not be given to yourself. And so some of you guys were forced to feel guilt every time you didn't do what your parents wanted you to do. Siblings, friends, whatever. And so you grew up feeling guilty because you don't want to be that person. You just want to give to yourself. Turns out you did like yourself. You just didn't have a chance to express that. Like I said, some of you guys are going to realize that you were at the 10 of Cups. Some of you guys are going to take advantage of this, right? With all this murkiness in the background, but look at the beauty inside. It's like you were a fucking gem inside of this. Whatever environment you were in, you were the gem this whole time. It's like you finding out that nobody else was the source of your happiness but yourself. The only problem is you felt guilty for that. And so you're going to forgive yourself. Some of you guys are going to forgive yourselves for sitting here and not believing that you could be selfish enough to just give to you. Some of you guys are fucking moms and dads out there to the whole universe because you felt like it was your job, your duty to do that. Only to find out that these people wouldn't give shit to you, back to you. So you're like, you know what? I'm tired. Some of you guys went through a mental breakdown because you guys were giving too much to everybody else. You just had to go back. You're like, I can't do this anymore. Some of you guys broke down and wondered why all your energy was going to waste because you kept giving to everybody else but yourself. You come first. Like I said, merging two versions of yourself together unapologetically. Remember that Rihanna album, that 12th album? No, was it the 7th album? Unapologetic. And that's your justice. You forgive yourself for not being able to validate yourself, validating everybody else around you except yourself, showing up for everybody else around you but abandoning yourself. Not anymore. You're showing up as you and you don't give two fucks about what anybody thinks. Some of you guys have this issue where you're showing up with like a resting bitch face, and I do it too. You show up with this face because I think you don't want anybody to bother you, because you know how giving and liking you are. Some of you guys are so antisocial. You literally do whatever it takes. You show up with a mask on, a hat on, just because you don't want to talk to people. Some of you guys don't go outside because you don't want to talk to people. And that really doesn't reflect what it really is. It's saying that you don't know how to balance that. You assume people are just going to take from your energy, and so you just you close up. You're guarded because you don't want that. But it's really how you're showing up. It's because you're not unapologetic. You feel sorry for dismissing people. So what do? You close yourself up. That's a way to deal with it, but is it really healthy for you? Because again, you're showing up as two different people. The guarded version of you and the inner child doesn't get to express itself because it thinks that it has to be protected. It can't go out to play. So you show up out there like this, guarded, not really realizing that you're doing it so that people won't take your energy. How do you merge the two? Two of Pentacles. How do you merge both of them, right? It's like the sticky cross right here. How do you merge them both? Healing. Heal. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Stop apologizing. Stop being so nice if you don't want to be. Be stern and keep it moving. Oh well, if people don't understand you, oh well, that's not your job to make people understand who you are or any of that. It's not your job. But that only happens when you're so comfortable with who you are. You can do a boss move like that. 9 of Pentacles. You're at the 9. 10 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. This is like, it's like the minute you figure out how to live like that and merge both versions of you, the inner child and the adult, you'll be at the 9, at the 10 in no time. You earned it. All right, my beautiful Gemini, that's all I have for you. If you resonate with the video, like, share, subscribe, comment on the chat below. If you're feeling unapologetic, comment that. All right, have a good one. Bye.